Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition. In the last episode, we made it to the Temple of Sacred Ashes, or at least what was left of it anyway. We found the original rift that was at the base of the breach. We opened it, fought the Pride Demon that came through it, and closed it, thus stabilizing the breach. So now we need to find a way to gather the power we need to actually close the breach for good. So that is going to be our next project. So we are back in the village of Haven, and we need to see about getting that done. And one of the things that happened was also the Inquisition has been reformed in the vein of the old pre-Chantry Inquisition, to try to gather the forces needed to deal with the problems, not only the breach, but the general issue between the Templars and the mages. So, we are now a member of this Inquisition that at the moment is just kind of a ragtag group of misfits, so we need to actually forge this into a real force. Now, those of you that saw my announcement yesterday, about the problems with the imported save game state, I have basically restarted the game, reloaded the correct save game state, or world state, and we should be up and running now. The problem is I had to basically recreate everything from scratch, so my character is going to not quite look exactly the same as it did in the previous two episodes. Well, that's just kind of the way it is, because of the way the character creator works. It's kind of really hard to recreate an exact replica of a face that you made before. Alright, so we have a quest objective here to report to the Haven's Chantry, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do.
Does it trouble you?
We'll go with the, where does it come from?
I just wish I knew what it was, or how I got it.
We will find out. What's important is that your mark is now stable, as is the breach. You've given us time, and Solas believes a second attempt might succeed, provided the mark has more power. The same level of power used to open the breach in the first place. That is not easy to come by.
I hope you have an idea about that.
Clearly you have something in mind.
We do. May I present Commander Cullen, leader of the Inquisition's forces.
Such as they are. We lost many soldiers in the valley, and I fear many more before this is through.
This is Lady Josephine Montelier, our ambassador and chief diplomat.
You're even taller than I'd heard.
And of course, you know Sister Liliana.
My position here involves a degree of...
She is our spy master.
Yes, tactfully put, Cassandra.
A pleasure.
Pleased to meet you all.
I mentioned that your mark needs more power to close the breach for good.
Which means we must approach the rebel mages for help.
And I still disagree. The Templars could serve just as well.
We need power, Commander. Enough magic poured into that mark.
Might destroy us all. Templars could suppress the breach, weaken it, so...
Pure speculation.
I was a Templar. I know what they're capable of.
Unfortunately, neither group will even speak to us yet. The Chantry has denounced the Inquisition, and you specifically.
That was quick.
That didn't take long.
Shouldn't they be busy arguing over who's going to become divine?
Some are calling you, a Gunari, the Herald of Andraste. That frightens the Chantry. The remaining clerics have declared it blasphemy, and we, heretics, for harboring you.
Chancellor Roderick's doing, no doubt.
It limits our options. Approaching the mages or Templars for help is currently out of the question.
Herald of Andraste?
Just how am I the Herald of Andraste?
People saw what you did at the temple, how you stopped the breach from growing. They have also heard about the woman seen in the rift when we first found you. They believe that was Andraste.
Even if we tried to stop that view from spreading.
Which we have not.
The point is, everyone is talking about you.
It's quite the title, isn't it? How do you feel about that?
So how do we feel about being this whole chosen one thing? I think we're gonna go with, it's unnerving.
It's a little unsettling.
I'm sure the Chantry would agree.
People are desperate for a sign of hope. For some, you're that sign. And to others, a symbol of everything that's gone wrong.
The breach doesn't worry them?
They aren't more concerned about the breach? The real threat?
They do know it's a threat. They just don't think we can stop it.
The Chantry is telling everyone you'll make it worse. There is something you can do. A Chantry cleric by the name of Mother Giselle has asked to speak to you. She is not far and knows those involved far better than I. Her assistance could be invaluable.
Why would she help us?
Why would someone from the Chantry help a declared heretic?
I understand she's a reasonable thought. Perhaps she does not agree with her sisters. You will find Mother Giselle tending to the wounded in the Hinterlands near Redcliffe.
Look for other opportunities to expand the Inquisition's influence while you're there.
We need agents to extend our reach beyond this valley, and you're better suited than anyone to recruit them.
In the meantime, let's think of other options. I won't leave this all to the Herald.
So I see Cullen is still kicking around. Operations. The war table allows you to apply the powers of the Inquisition throughout Orlais and Ferelden, Mother Giselle's in the Hinterlands, which can be found on the Ferelden side of the map. So we'll go to the Ferelden side of the map. The Inquisition can unlock new areas for you to explore through scouting operations. Perform the scouting operation for the Hinterlands on the Ferelden side of the war table now. Okay, so that is right here. It's going to cost 1 power, which we
My
have
scouts still
1
comb the
power.
hills for clues about the explosion. I'll take what I can find.
Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see. Mother Giselle was last seen in the Hinterlands outside Redcliffe, tending refugees who fled the fighting between renegade Templars and apostate mages. The latest report suggests that the vicious struggle between the two groups has spread to the Hinterlands, catching the refugees and Mother Giselle in the middle. It is vital to protect her and, if possible, restore order to the area. Alright, we're going to send an agent out to do that. Alright, scouting report from the Hinterlands. We avoided the fighting as best we could. It's every bit as bad as we feared. The apostates are mad, attacking anything that moves, and it appears that the Templars here aren't following anyone's orders any longer. We located Mother Giselle and are trying to protect her, but she refuses to leave the refugees until we've ensured their safety. That will be hard to do without troops to push the apostates and the Templars out of the area. Commander Cullen asked me to make inquiries of Master Dinette, a retired horse master of Redcliffe who lives in the area. We tried to contact him about obtaining better horses for the Inquisition, but we've been unable to get through the fighting. Lead Scout Harding. Alright, accept that. And I'm actually going to not venture forth just yet. Alright, so now I have access to missions. Mission operations take time and bring the Inquisition resources and rewards. So only 1 mission per advisor can be active at a time. Some missions have a preferred type, which results in less time required when undertaken by the associated advisor. Missions may also provide different rewards depending on which advisor completes them. Alright, so we now have these missions. Let's see, we have Gather Coin, Scout the Storm Coast, which we need 4 power. Rescue soldiers missing in Ferelden. We need 8 power for that. The Black Emporium, which is the DLC stuff. Hard in Hightown 3, Varric's Revenge. Okay. The Terran of Highever. And address a nobleman's concerns. Let's choose the Terran of Highever mission for one of our advisors, to whom it concerns. The Terraneer of Highever wishes to convey our deepest sympathies on the death of divine Justinia V. The Most Holy was incomparable in her wisdom and dedication to peace, and we had high hopes that her conclave would succeed. We will hold a vigil in Highever in remembrance of Justinia and cordially invite the Inquisition to attend. Sincerely, Terran Fergus Koosland. Is there anybody that does this faster? Yes, Cullen apparently does this faster. We have a number of Ferelden officers. We could send an honor guard to Highever. That sounds good. Do that.
To work?
Let's see. Address a nobleman's concerns. Alright. Doesn't really matter who we send. Let's see what they want. Herald, your Inquisition says it's for order against chaos, reason, and darkness. We stand by this. Come forth and drive the heretics from my lands. They claim to be refugees, but I have seen elves and apostates among them, filthy savages tearing at our roots. Our monarch refuses to send forth armies. My own knights were decimated at the conclave. I require aid to return peace to my lands. Prove your loyalty, and I will see you rewarded for your faith. You seem to be a bit... I'm an idiot and bigot, but I guess we'll try to get some support here, which we desperately need. Liliana, we can take advantage of his raving. My spies can harass the refugees into moving somewhere else to win Lord Kildarn's favor. Josephine says, yes, Lord Kildarn, pariah even among his peers. Let us send a polite refusal and nothing more. That sounds like what I would prefer to do.
Let us begin.
That. And let's go gather coin. Until now, Inquisition forces have had the benefit of the Chantry's deep coffers. Now the Inquisition is forced to seek out its own sources of revenue if it is going to grow further. Trade in and out of Haven is limited at this point, but there are various opportunities to earn coin, provided the Inquisition is willing to focus its efforts on the matter, which will send Liliana to go take care of that
Let's
business.
see what we have.
Alright. Do we really have anything to do in Orlais? Contact the Valakos mercenaries. Everybody's busy, so we'll come back to that later once everybody's done their work. So what I think we're probably going to do now is go ahead and explore Haven and talk to everyone and get to know people. We definitely want to talk to Varric and Solus. Also, if we can come across our advisors and have some chats with them, that may prove insightful as soon as the game loads. There we go. Which, as you can see on the radar, there's this little head. Yeah, I know about that. So it means there's someone right in here.
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinia's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked her life to slow the magic of the breach. Mistress Adar, this is Marquis Durelion, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House Durelion lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
You own this land?
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denver, has claimed to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
We all have bigger problems.
Demons are pouring from the sky, and you're worried about land claims?
Haven is the Durelion's rightful property.
Has Empress Selene officially acknowledged your possession of Haven? I was unaware Her Imperial Majesty had conferred with Ferelden's monarchs on this matter.
The Empress has not yet had the opportunity to do so.
We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montilyet. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Or legions. Does the Marquis own Haven?
Do the Durelians actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite their Ferelden relations, the Durelions are our legion. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
You handled the Marquis well.
I'm so pleased the Marquis isn't tossing us out into the cold.
His Grace is only the first of many dignitaries we must contend with.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
Let's see. So, how did you become ambassador?
May I ask what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
What kind of background do you have?
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montilyet.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas' politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done.
Alright, let's just talk to Josephine again and see if there's anything else she wants to discuss.
Great.
We can discuss. Oh. I think we kind of already covered that ground. How did you meet Liliana?
How do you and Liliana know each other?
We moved through similar circles in Orlais. I believe we actually met in Val Royaux. Liliana was quite an accomplished player of the game by then.
The game?
What exactly do you mean when you say the game?
Forgive me. The game refers to the slow duels of influence among the noble and powerful of Orlais. It's a rather light-hearted name for the matter, but our legions are fond of playful touches.
And what exactly are your duties?
What exactly does your job entail?
I meet with ambassadors from various factions and countries, and cement alliances with them. We are a young cause. Diplomacy is essential to our credibility.
So you're a representative?
Then you speak for the Inquisition with these nobles?
I do. Someone must foster goodwill on our behalf, as well as prevent controversy as news of us spreads.
Are we that controversial?
How heavily are our actions scrutinized?
Make no mistake. Every noble house, every throne, is waiting to see what the Inquisition does next. Many are willing to pledge support, if offers are made in just the right fashion. I intend to see that they are.
And, tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's see. What does your family do?
What business are the Montilyets in, exactly?
We began as merchants. My ancestors founded the first trade routes to Rivain. We once sent entire fleets across the Waking Sea.
Once.
But not anymore?
No. These days, our vessels are a touch more modest.
Tell me about your work.
What did you do before coming here?
I had the great honor of serving Antiva's crown as ambassador to Orlais. I'm also first in line to become the head of House Montilier, though my siblings attend to our mercantile affairs.
So you're doing this for Antiva?
How strong are your past loyalties?
I would never have given up my position if I did not intend to fully commit to the Inquisition. We cannot fall back on borders. Antiva is as threatened as any country by the rebellions. If anything, the alliances I forged there may help our current cause.
Will we have other causes?
Do you think the Inquisition will continue after we seal the breach?
If we prove ourselves by healing the breach, people may turn to us for other things. Protection, counsel, justice. The Inquisition offered these once to those in need.
And what is your opinion on this whole deal?
Tell me, do you believe I was saved by Andraste at the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I should much like to believe so, Your Worship. The miracles Andraste performed were so long ago, they're difficult to picture. If it were truly her and the Fate who saved you, well, in any case, many already believe you walk in the Maker's light.
Alright then.
Let's speak later.
Farewell.
Alright. Turning research. Oh, Maeve. Got somebody else here.
You're the Herald. Or, well, the one they're calling the Herald, anyway. It's odd to see them accepting a mage as their hero. It must be easier because you're not human. They already see you as different from those of us who lived in circles. My name is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
So you're a mage?
You said you were a mage.
No, just an apprentice. Circle mages must prove themselves in a ritual called the Harrowing. I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
You protected the Tranquil?
You said that you were keeping some of the Tranquils safe?
Yes. The mages took some of them when my circle rebelled, but the rest were forgotten. Most circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves, can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
Well, they're lucky to have you.
I'm glad they have someone who cares about them.
They deserve better. They're polite, they're rational, and they'll never get angry at you. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
And you didn't join the rebels?
I'm surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
I don't like using magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I liked studying. I liked performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
Well, that's a minority opinion right now.
Templars made me feel a lot of things, but never safe.
You have not lived my life. I was born into a Dalish clan. I lived there until my magic manifested. The Dalish cannot risk having too many mages in one clan. And I was one more than they could bear. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
That explains a lot.
No wonder you'd rather stay in the circle. You had more than enough life outdoors.
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold, a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me. Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
So you research creatures.
You say Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit when fighting various creatures. At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
Why study them?
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you, glowing eyes and burning claws, it's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal with it. It's just another part of the world. So much of this world is only frightening because we don't understand it.
Do we actually have anything for her?
I found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it. We will study that.
Okay. Apparently we had a shadow essence, and we've now turned that in.
There was no word for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence.
Alright, let's go see what else is out here.
So we're heretics just like that. Should we surrender or
We got someone else over here. It looks like it's Liliana.
as much as anyone?
Alright, let's talk to you.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow. In their blood, the Maker's will is written. Is that what you want from us? Blood. To die so that your will is done? Is death your only blessing? You speak for Andraste, no? What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
I'm as confused as you.
Don't ask me. I'm as baffled as you are.
You probably don't even worship the Maker. Lucky. He asks a lot. The Chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
You can blame her killers.
Maybe you should be angry at the people who murdered her.
If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants, what good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing. Serving the Maker meant nothing.
And you're telling me this? Why?
I'm not really the best person to talk to. Doesn't the Chantry have people for this?
So I should let a priest comfort me? No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come, to work then. We will speak later.
Okay then. Looks like Liliana is having a bit of a crisis of faith. Understandable in the circumstances.
Master Harry said that without more ore, he
There's
won't be
a
able to get
quest
blades
marker
for the
here.
recruits.
Tell Master
Thren?
Harry that ore doesn't grow on trees. I didn't realize any of Liliana's Oxman mercenaries were still here. Well, if you want new gear, you pay for it. Oh, you're her. Thren, Inquisition Quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
What exactly is your job here?
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
And how did you end up here?
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under Ten Logain MacTier. Best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
No wonder you were unpopular.
With that attitude, I can't imagine how you made enemies in Denerim.
People just don't want to hear the truth. I was at Ostagar, and I know what really happened. King Kalen overextended his position, and the Grey Wardens were too late lighting the signal. Following the original plan would have gotten everyone killed. Ten Logain made the right decision. I apologize. Sister Liliana told me I shouldn't talk about this. Just forget it.
Okay, so what are these requisitions?
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, take a look. You find some iron and a good logging site. Maybe Harriet can get our troops better weapons.
And how do I fulfill these special orders?
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
All right.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
And who else is kicking around? Oh, there's still... Is it a table? Okay, what do I need? I need a logging stand and some iron. I have enough iron, but don't have a logging stand.
So it's true. Butler has stand on us. I hope...
Ah, it's Varric. Let's chat with Varric.
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
I can barely keep up.
I have no idea what's happening anymore.
That makes two of us. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
And why did you stay?
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
It hasn't really sunk in yet.
I'm still not sure I believe any of this is really happening.
If this is all just the Maker winding us up, I hope there's a damn good punchline coming. You might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky... that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
Alright, anything else we can talk to you about?
Need something?
Tell me about this red lyrium.
The red lyrium we found at the temple seemed to upset you.
My brother Bertrand and I sort of discovered red lyrium during an expedition in the deep roads. We located an ancient thaig, so old it barely looked dwarven. There was this idol there made of it. Bertrand brought it back to the surface, and, well, everything's gone downhill from there.
What is it exactly?
So what is it? Just another kind of lyrium?
The red stuff is lyrium like a dragon is a lizard. It's not just a different color. It has a whole host of weirdness all its own. I've written to every mining cast house in Orzammar. No one's seen this stuff before or knows where it came from.
What can it do?
What makes it special?
Regular lyrium can mess you up pretty badly, but you have to ingest it for that to happen. Red lyrium messes with your mind when you're just near the stuff. You hear singing, get violent, paranoid, and then it does creepy shit. Makes things float, brings statues to life. It also turned Kirkwall's Knight Commander to lyrium. Everyone's been kept at least 100 paces from it since.
And why was it in the temple?
How did the red lyrium get in the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I don't know. So as far as I knew, the only piece to make it to the surface was destroyed. And the location of the thaig it came from is a secret. Did someone find more of it in the deep roads? That's not a cheery thought.
Oh, that's enough for now.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject.
We have some other things. Personal questions.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
How do you know Cassandra?
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
Where exactly are you from?
Are you from Ferelden? Or Ley?
Free marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
Nah, it's not that bad. What do you do?
I'm not clear on your line of work. You're a merchant?
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
Could you do Liliana's job?
If you run a spy network, why is Liliana our spy master?
To be honest with you, she's just a better spy master. The truly great ones can keep their distance. They don't get attached to their people. Me, I always wind up babysitting my informants and worrying about their families. We're in better hands with her.
Tell me about your crossbow.
Where did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. I won her from Paragon Smith Bronca in a game of Wicked Grace. She was such a sore loser. Ran off to the deep roads in a huff, and that was the last anyone saw of her.
Why Bianca?
Who is she named for?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
And the reason for that is...
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
Okay.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
One other thing to talk about. I have some questions about Hawk.
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
You made up the Arashok fight, right?
There's no way Hawk really could have killed the Arashok. It would have started a war with the Kunari.
I was told later that the Kunari disavowed his actions. Apparently, the Arashok didn't get permission before he attacked Kirkwall, and the Qun didn't want another exalted march. When they finally sent a ship to haul the wrecked dreadnought away, they just said, "We will never speak of this again." As far as I can tell, that's the Qun's version of an apology.
Orsino's fate made no sense.
In the book, you say that first enchanter Orsino turned himself into a giant monster made of corpses. How? Why?
Do I look like an expert on magical weirdness to you? Well, I can't tell you how. For the why, all I can say is he was desperate.
Well, he did have access to that one necromancer's research who was assembling body parts into the image of his dead wife, so that's probably where he knew how to do it. Where are Hawk's friends?
Where are the rest of Hawk's associates now?
Meryl decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Fenris has kept himself busy, hunting down the Tevinter slavers who came south to prey on the refugees. I'm not sure exactly where he is at the moment. You can usually follow the trail of corpses, though. Isabella went back to the raiders. She's calling herself an admiral now. I don't know if she's actually in charge or just has a really big hat. Might be the same thing, honestly. Sebastian went back to Starkhaven. I'm sure he's boring all sorts of people there. Last I knew, Hawk's sister Bethany was doing something wardeny near the Anderfell's border. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job.
Alright, so that's all the options we could talk to Varric about at the moment. We still have a bunch to do here in town, but we are kind of at the end of the episode, so we will continue to explore Haven, talk to the characters here when we get back. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.